So we recently watched Unbreakable and Split.
Well, I mean, Unbreakable was like 6 weeks ago, but sure.
Have you gotten around to watching Glass yet?
Glass. Is that the one? That's the sequel to Alice in Wonderland.
Looking Glass. No, this is a different one.
Oh.
Well, we got to watch Glass.
Okay. So, before we watched the movie, I said some things.
You did say a few things. Yeah.
The first thing I said was that I was excited. I was looking forward to this. Not in the same capacity that I had been looking forward to Split.
Mm-hmm.
Split was a film that I'd wanted to see for a while. Glass, not necessarily. But I was excited to see because how, the world of Unbreakable felt like such an afterthought of an inclusion.
Split felt like an afterthought to Unbreakable, you mean?
No, I'm saying like they made Split or wrote Split and then at the last second an afterthought.
Yeah. Like we talked about.
Yeah.
Like he finished writing Split and he's like, what this would fit really well with?
And so I was curious to see how that sort of amalgamated.
Yeah, because it doesn't connect the two until like the last 20 seconds.
Yeah. Which is still so dumb. And so I said that. I also said, because I had some issues with Split. Like, I really liked Split, but I had some sticking points.
Yeah.
And
mostly near, like, kind of the last.
Yeah, sort of the third act. And I said that I thought this film had the potential, depending on how it went, to salvage, to make amends for those things that were sticking points for me in Split. So, I said those things. Hello and welcome to the Movie Men Podcast.
We are the B team.
Why?
I gotta make it different every time.
Yeah.
It's become the thing.
That's all right. All right. That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's a big day.
Yeah,
it's a big day because we're
the finalization.
Yes, which means
it's penultimate the last or the second last?
Split, which makes Split.
Well,
the penultimate.
Technically, this is the penultimate.
Why?
Because the last is the one you will show us the next time we get together. Because my series has come to an end, but the series of series hasn't come to an end.
Right.
So it's kind of the penultimate.
But interestingly, for the first time in 6 weeks, I have no idea what you're going to have me watch next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
And I don't know what you're going to make. Well, I guess I know what you're going to make me watch.
But after that, you have no idea.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks before we get to watch that because I'm going on vacation.
Well, it's depending on release schedule. It might not be 3 weeks for the listener, but I see what you're saying. So we watched Glass.
Initial
Initial impressions?
You know what? Yeah, so I will go first because it's my pick.
Yeah.
I forgot a lot of this movie. I kind of understand my wife's viewing experience a little bit more now. For the list,
bring the listener.
For those that are not up to speed, my wife has this fun superpower. Yeah, that's his first superpower.
Yeah,
where like she'll watch a film. And like 99% of the film she watches, like 4, 5, 6 months later, she's like, I don't know if I've seen that. And we'll watch it and she's like, oh yeah, it's starting to come back to me. And then by the end, she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember watching this." It's almost like a first time viewing experience a year after watching something if she watches it again.
See, and that's fine.
So yeah, like there was a lot in this. I was like how it starts out. I was like, oh yeah, they don't start out in the asylum. For some reason in my head, they started out
just
in
jump
the asylum.
Right into it.
And then like the very last twist, I completely forgot the very last twist.
Yeah, because there's several twists.
Yeah, there's a couple big ones.
Yeah. That's not an initial impression.
No. Well, it's kind of an initial. It's an impression. My initial impression of this watching.
I didn't remember it at all.
I don't remember much of this film. But I like this one. I think my impression of this would be that it does do a good job of kind of sewing together the two separate halves that seem so starkly different, and that in a pretty interesting way.
Okay.
In a way that seems fun and plausible, while also having a lot of those fun M. Night Shyamalan twists to kind of further kind of cinch them together,
right?
And bring plausible reason why. And he does a lot of really good kind of foreshadowing in this to kind of also make those that hemming together of worlds feel a little not disjointed, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That feels like an initial impression.
Yeah.
I'm happier with that.
That would be my actual, that would be my initial impression of the actual film and not my watching of it.
Okay. All right.
And what is your initial impression, sir?
I don't know if you want to hear this.
Well, then let's just pack everything up. I'll go home. We'll say Pete Brady's calling it off. He doesn't want to do it anymore because I don't want to hear it.
There are some great moments in this.
Yeah.
It's the weakest of the three. I think that this film has all of the components of the previous two, but all of those components are not given the opportunity to shine in the way that they did. They're not given the opportunity to be the special thing that they were in installments past, and we can dive into that.
I think we definitely will.
But this feels like what I imagine happened is in 2000, M. Night released a pretty good movie. Mm-hmm. Sort of a interesting take on superheroes, and to his credit, at a time where wasn't really like superhero movies wasn't really
yeah,
it wasn't a thing really. Yeah. It was a very niche kind of guilty pleasure.
If it
genre.
Came out now, it would be a real fresh of breath air.
Yes, fresh of breath air.
Breath of fresh air.
There you go.
Isn't that what I said?
No.
Fresh of breath air. Yeah, I guess I messed that one up.
And so I think in 2000 he released a really interesting film. And then in 2016 he wrote a far more interesting film. Like a really interesting, like could be his masterpiece, could be his like the
pièce de résistance.
Yeah, that right.
Said that right.
And then at the last minute decided
shoehorn.
I'm going to shoehorn something into this. And then I feel like immediately after, because this film only came out 3 years later, which means you probably started working on it pretty quickly
right
after.
Yeah. the idea sparked and he realized I can't get it into Split.
Well, yeah.
But I can make another movie.
Well, see, and maybe, but I think it was more like, you know, well, shit, I guess I have a franchise on my hands now.
I gotta make a trilogy.
So
they gotta meet.
The only thing to do is to make another one.
They gotta fight.
And everything about this, in that sense, is a letdown for me. You know, James McAvoy is just as good as he was in, like, his talent is just as good as it was in Split, but the character of Kevin is not as good when removed from the creepy person in control in a hostage or a kidnapping situation. Like, it just was no longer as fascinating.
When removed from the isolated scenario where they can kind of like, he changes personalities behind closed doors.
And what was interesting about Split is that it was a real character study into this person. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't really do that. Like there's glimpses at it.
The character study's over.
Yeah, but it need not be.
Right.
So there's that. There's
like he's a character in it, but there's a very strong argument that he's not the star of this film.
No, but
he's not the main character.
But that, to me, that's a huge issue, right? And there really isn't like the star of this film is Mr. Glass.
Yes, it's called Glass,
and so it's like they've now each had a chance to be the main character of a film, I guess. But then that kind of leads you feeling like I felt like both David Dunn and Kevin were just here jobbing. They were just here to be filler for a story. And that seems that, you know, and Anya Taylor-Joy, the Casey character, 100% in this only as a, well, we're getting the band back together, right? Like there's no reason really. I mean, they give her stuff to do.
Yeah.
But it really feels like they're kind of forcing it on you. It's a bit of a stretch that she wants to go see him. And then,
she's got some kind of affection for
she's got the
messed up guy,
Florence Nightingale effect, where she falls in love with her captor. Yeah, but I don't. I don't know. I just have so much and it just like the first one, interesting story about. You know, the first one, if I had to give a synopsis for all three. First one, interesting story about a man who is a superhero and sort of like a real grounded take on it. Mm-hmm. The second one, really interesting story on how mental illness and split personality and how much control does the mind have over a body, and
right.
You know, and then the third one, how it ends, right? Like it's not you know, if you were to like, oh yeah, Glass, that really interesting movie about, I'd be like, well, let me stop you right there. The word interesting, like it just, it's not a bad movie, but when put up against the first two, especially the second one, this is just like, it just feels like you're just putting food on my plate. You haven't made me something delicious, right? This isn't a culinary experience. It's not even something I'm hungry for. You're just putting food on my plate.
This film does kind of suffer from And like, I don't know. I saw obviously you could tell the story differently.
Right.
But the main character is Mr. Glass. But Mr. Glass, we don't even kind of run into Mr. Glass until the second act.
Yeah.
And Mr. Glass, we really don't realize that Mr. Glass is actively hatching some kind of plot. I got a tickle in my throat. Actively enacting some kind of plot until close to the end of the second act.
Yeah.
At least halfway through.
Yeah.
And if that's the main character, if that's the driving force for the conflict in your film, Mr. Glass, well, then you got a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Now...
Well, not only that, but he's had almost literally zero character development across 3 films.
Right.
The second one because he's not in it. But if I were to tell you, okay, this is the 3rd film in the trilogy, this is the main character, tell me 5 interesting things about this character.
Mr. Glass?
Yeah.
5?
5.
His bones are brittle. He's extremely smart. He likes comics. He loves his mama.
No, see, that's a hell of a stretch there. Right?
You saying he doesn't love his mama?
There's negligible.
He believes superheroes are real.
There's a negligible amount of character development. What the hell?
I don't know what's going on.
That was like right into the microphone too.
You edited that one out, you son of a gun.
My God, we just lost all of our listeners. People are like, screw this, man.
I need a lozenge or something.
Yeah, it's just a boring movie.
Well, it's very slow paced.
Yeah.
And man, what the heck?
Good Lord, dude.
I feel like my throat is sandpaper.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Get a little fluid in there.
It's just
my mic etiquette's on point.
Do you know do you know what's painful for me? What's painful for me is that like I have a diploma in how to talk into a microphone, like with honors, like a college graduate on. And so sometimes it's just hard, right? Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I know how to run a show. I know how to talk to an audience. I know how to,
working with amateurs.
Sometimes. Yeah. I'm only as smart as my dumbest member.
Hello. That's why he brought me on, to elevate himself.
Yes. Yeah.
He's like, Pete, you're horrible. We need to bring in somebody worse than you so you look good.
There's Pete using words like penultimate correctly. It's like, let's bring someone in who's going to use the word penultimate. But even after like the 12 times that I've explained to him what the hell the word means, he'll keep using it wrong.
Yeah. Hey man, that word a day dictionary calendar is coming in handy.
Listen, I'm not worried. This is on the topic of your intelligence. I want you to know that I've never worried about you. Like I've never gone, like, oh, I'm really worried about Carl. Just the children he's raising. That's where. It's a good thing you have a brilliant wife.
She brings home the cheddar.
All right.
I wish she'd bring home provolone, but
we're so off the rails.
Okay, back on topic.
Glass is a shit film.
So it's slow. You're saying
boring.
It's slow, but to kind of the credit of the trilogy, all 3 movies kind of had slower pacing.
Oh, I don't think Split has slower pacing at all. No, like 2 minutes in, 2 minutes in, the dad's knocked out, thrown on the ground or in the trunk or whatever.
And then they spend the rest of the movie in a room.
Yeah, but you're getting introduced to new personalities, and there's the tension growing of the girls getting
but it doesn't
separated
move quickly.
I disagree.
Yeah.
The first one's slower, and I don't even necessarily know. Like, slow was your word, and I kind of went, yeah, it moves slow. It's boring. Boring is my word. My word
Glass.
is that Glass is a boring movie.
You don't like when you find out that Glass is in the same wing of the same psych ward as these other two. You're not like intrigued.
No, because I called it right away. I was like, oh, let me guess. This is the place that Glass was also locked up.
Right.
I called it right away.
But like when they're showing him like looking like a vegetable, you're not at all like stirring in your mind, oh, is he? And if he isn't, how? And like,
not really, because I think I find Glass to be a boring, because I don't know anything about him, and I don't, he's
and that mystery doesn't intrigue you more?
He's smart, but what we realized from this film is he was only ever one punch in the chest. It didn't even need to be the Beast. With how brittle, the fact that dropping a flashlight on the guy's legs would have broken his bones, this guy has always been one punch in the chest away from dead.
Right. Because he's not about the physicality, he's about his brain.
So he's super stoppable. He makes a horrible villain.
But they don't stop him at all.
He stopped in this.
No, he's not.
The
secret organization tries to stop him.
Yes.
They fail miserably.
But it's still...
He dies, yes, but he always intended to die.
Right, but he didn't...
He didn't die because it was their choice. They died because he let them.
But what he succeeded in was no act of evil. It was no like, oh, now the world knows that there's superheroes, that people can do one. Like, it was possibly the only, the thing that he succeeded in was potentially the only pure thing about him.
Right.
Was his love and belief in superheroes.
Right.
And that's it. So he's not...
Why are you making that a negative? It sounds like you're making that a negative.
No, what I'm saying is it's not an attribute to... It can't be used as an attribute to why he's a good villain. They stopped him from doing bad. He didn't... There was no... What's his evil plan in this?
That he'd go about it by any means necessary?
Yeah,
which he did?
Yeah, but...
He was like... All right, Beast, I'm with you. Let's do this by any means necessary.
Yeah, but he was still just trying to grow awareness. Like, there was no evil.
It was more than just growing
intent.
Awareness. Like his last kind of, it wasn't his last words, but in his last moments, he's like, I don't just find people, I create them. Like, he's full megalomaniac.
Sure, but he still didn't do anything evil in this film.
Besides release the Beast who killed people and kill people himself.
Right. But it still wasn't like it was an like
he's got no remorse for his actions. And he's willing to do anything it takes to make his plans come to fruition.
Right. So he used questionable or negative means to achieve a completely harmless goal.
Harmless in your eyes.
What is the issue that now the world knows that there were superheroes, but now they're all dead? What is the harm?
It's not necessarily the world that has that issue.
Okay.
It's the organization they introduce at the end.
Right. Which also felt stupid because it's like, what are you setting up a fourth? They're not.
No.
But it's like, that just felt shoehorned in.
Did it?
Oh, totally.
I don't know.
It's like, what difference does it make?
It makes a big difference. It's an explanation for why aren't there more? Because the questions posed a number of times in the second and third act, why aren't there more of you?
Right.
Why are there only 3? If superheroes exist, there should be more than just the 3 of you.
Right.
And it kind of answers that, ties up that loose end of the reason there's not more, and the reason they're here trying to be convinced that they're not special
is because they've all been convinced that
is because there's an organization that either convinces people they're not or kills them.
Right. But then we get zero develop. But who are they, and why are they doing this?
Why does it matter?
And why? Because that is narrative storytelling. To just start going, well, and he walked outside and his car was on fire. Why? Because it's interesting. No, that's shit storytelling. That is shit storytelling. Putting things in and not giving them a reason.
I would disagree.
Because I feel like you have used this argument on me before.
If you believe that, then all M. Night Shyamalan movies are crap. All of his movies. Because that's what he does.
The lion's share.
This is exactly what he does. Then the end of the last act, he introduces some wild explanation for something, and then there's no further explanation. It's like, this is why things happen this way. Ta-da! The end. This is why it's this way. Ta-da! The end.
Like, and where was that in Split? Because I feel like everything in Split had a narrative purpose. I didn't always agree with it. It didn't always go in the direction I necessarily wanted it to go in.
Well, Split never had a twist.
But everything in Split made sense as to why it was a thing.
Right, but Split didn't have a twist. So that would be
right. But you're saying all M. Night films.
You're picking hairs.
No, I'm trying to understand your argument.
I'm saying when M. Night Shyamalan throws a twist in a movie, which is 90% of his films.
Yes,
it's not all of his films, or else the Avatar's crap for other reasons.
Right,
right. But anytime there's a twist in a film in the end of the third act, whether it's M. Night Shyamalan writing and directing it or not, that's the narrative construct of it. And I don't think I've used this argument before. So you say 90% of his films, but I would argue that there are a lot of people out there who would say 90% of M. Night's films are shit. Well,
like he's a real hit and miss director.
But people look at like
miss.
Signs and the other Bruce Sixth Sense, and they're like, these are amazing films.
And they are amazing films.
Right? Well, the reason there are cups around the house is because the girls got some sense that aliens don't like water, or mom somehow gave them that sense.
I mean, they do a better job of it. That's a real...
It's a pretty, like, out there thing.
Brazing over it.
There's water around the house all film, and they kind of, like, allude to it. But then out of nowhere, it's like a sixth, it's not the same movie, but a Sixth Sense kind of intuition about why it's there.
But I think the difference with that...
Come on.
The difference with that and the secret organization in this is that this is a whole new thing that is just introduced in the last 60 seconds of the film. And it's a huge, like it's supposed to answer everything, right? It's supposed to be the big answer of like, why is it just Bruce Willis and why is it just Kevin? And then even the Kevin thing never really gets, like, one of Kevin's personalities is a superhero, which still, like, that's a whole thing to try to wrap your mind around and how that works with the body. And one of his personalities is a superhero. The other one's diabetic. Fine. But it's something that's introduced in the last 60 seconds as an answer for everything. And to me, it feels like
I don't think it's an answer for everything.
Well, not everything, but it answers a big question. And for me, it feels like something, it feels like a twist that was thrown in there to tie up a loose end at the last second. It's just there to tie up a loose end, right? It is in the 11th hour going, the film's done, except we still don't have an answer for this. What if this woman, who has given no indication up until this point that she's anything other than a psychiatrist, who's dedicated to her cause, and now let's what if she is part of a secret organization?
I don't know how much, like, I'm pondering right now.
Yep.
That character, the psychiatrist. What was her name in the film?
Doctor something.
Dr. Ellie Staple.
Dr. Staple.
Dr. Staples. Even we, like, introducing, and I had forgot that secret organization twist.
Yeah, because it's forgettable.
But you and I were both throughout the film going like, this is the only thing. This is her what she got her degree on. That she wrote a thesis on superheroes.
Yeah, but that bothers me less. I thought that was just a funny, like, I was making fun of it. But
I don't know. I would say that is feeling weird about her and her very specific speciality.
Well, it's not necessarily...
And how she kind of is approaching these characters.
Yeah.
When there's evidence, it would be so easy to simply test Bruce Willis's strength instead of just locking him in a room and talking to him. Be like, how much can you bench press? The way his son did.
Right.
Right. Like, how inhuman are you to this? Like, that's where my thought was, like, several times she's trying to talk Bruce Willis kind of off the superhero ledge. And I'm like, but the dude can bench press a truck.
Right. But okay. So
like,
two things.
Why you're trying to talk him down from something that he can very plainly do, and you could see it for yourself if you wanted to.
One,
I would say, hang on. I would say that kind of oddness to her approach and her very specific speciality field is,
I think you
is as much foreshadowing as cups of glass, water being left around the house.
So two things. One, that type of character is relatively common in films.
A stupid psychiatrist?
The naysayer, even in the face of clear evidence, right? I'm trying to think of... There's like a line in my head from a film, and I can't remember what the film is or what they're naysaying. But that happens in movies, right? You need someone who's kind of causing conflict. You need someone who's there, who is impeding, is a hurdle for our characters, and just can't see the light in front of their eyes until the very last second or towards the end of the film, where the hero actually ends up saving this person and converting them, changing their mind. The other thing is Dr. Staples or Staple or whatever she never says, and the film never says, that like this is what she specialized in school, right? That she decided to take
it does say
superheroes aren't real.
This is her.
She says that she calls it a particular interest in, right? So she is a psychiatrist. She's a general psychiatrist who, for whatever reason, or I mean, this isn't what it ends up being, but it could be played this way. She's a general psychiatrist that, for whatever reason, isn't on board with this superhero thing, thinks that superheroes aren't real, and has like a personal vendetta for whatever reason. And I just remembered the example of another character who's just like this. So about halfway through the Harry Potter franchise, in the end of the fourth film, right? Voldemort comes back, kills Robert Pattinson in the graveyard, and now Harry and Dumbledore is like, he's back, right? Voldemort's back, he's back. And nobody believes him, despite dead Cedric and several other signs. If you choose to look at them, there's signs he's back, including the Minister of Magic, who spends, it's like a running gag throughout the film, where he continuously says, he's not back, right? Like, he's not back. Stop telling people that. And then there's a moment where at the end of the film, there's this big fight happening between Dumbledore and Voldemort, and the Minister of Magic comes through one of the chimneys using the flue powder transportation, whatever, and sees Voldemort and goes, oh, he's back. Right? Like, it's not right. An unheard of character type.
I would agree, but I would... Again, having forgot the twist,
yep.
I felt weird about her the whole time.
Right.
And I feel like you did too, because you were kind of throwing shade at her the way I was.
I did once at the beginning.
I'll tell you the big thing that caused me to kind of question motives.
Okay.
Was when she's talking to, what's her name?
Casey?
Girl who likes Casey. Yeah. She's talking to Casey, and they're leaving. She's escorting her out of the hospital after her first visit, and she was able to bring Kevin out without lights or whatever.
Right.
And she starts talking about kind of love being this ethereal, magical power, while at the same time explaining that he can't possibly have magical ethereal powers.
Right.
And I was like, what? She believes in things you can't see and touch, but she can't believe in something she can see and touch.
Right.
So that moment kind of made me go, whoa, wait a minute. What is up with this woman?
Yeah. Listen, we're splitting hairs on this. We're not going to convince the other person. No. I don't like it. You don't have an issue with it. But yeah, it just, to me,
it would have landed better. I'll agree. It would have landed better if there was a bit more foreshadowing, like seeing the Clover tattoo on a few more people throughout the film. Yeah. Like the guy, if the guy putting in the cameras, there's a very obvious shot of the guy putting in cameras, which foreshadows that the cameras are going to be part of Glass's plan.
Yeah.
But it would have been really neat to see like a Clover patch on his shoulder, or a very obvious tattoo, and then see that
or a Clover, like what looks like just a logo for a company that makes cameras, a Clover symbol on the cameras.
I think I'm thinking about the last film we watched, Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
And we didn't actually mention this in the film, or in our review of the film, but all throughout that film, we see the demon's name.
Yes.
Very, very, very subtly put in the background.
Yeah,
and
written in blocks
foreground.
On the floor, type of thing.
Some kid's craft in the window, but it just happens to spell the name. Things like that, where you might not notice them the first time you watch it, but the second time you watch, you're like, oh, there it is.
And that was the first time I'd noticed it, and I'd seen the film like 3 or 4 times.
And maybe that is sprinkled throughout the film, and we just didn't pick up on it.
I think for me, what I would have wanted, what would have made it ultimately a reveal that felt earned, because I think like it just doesn't feel earned.
Right.
A reveal that would have felt earned would be if somehow we knew. I don't like the fact that such an organization exists being the reveal. I'm okay with her being a part of that organization. Right. And so if it had been set up, ideally in previous films, but even if it was only set up in this film by just a line of expositional dialogue from Glass or whoever, like if Glass was aware that such an organization existed and was trying to maybe explain to Dr. Staple the reason why you don't believe this, the reason why is because of the secret society of
he knows
whatever
it exists.
Yes, but
why
bringing us into the loop so that we're aware that they're there, and then the reveal is she's a part of it. She's like the leader of it, or she's like she's a high-ranking member, as opposed to the reveal being like, and just before the credits roll, there's a secret organization, I think and she's a part of it.
A good space for, like, just thinking about it, like, probably a great spot for kind of a foreshadowing drop.
Yeah.
Would have been in the basement computer room. Like, why is there a basement computer room in the place
that would have been perfect.
Begin with? Right? Yeah. Like, screen, he wheels himself in there.
The discovery of a secret organization.
We see, and there's a big computer, which is a little odd, but I mean, maybe that's where the server room is. Server rooms get hot, basements are cold.
Yeah.
Right? But for the monitors, when he rolls in, because we see him roll in, but the monitors are already like, stuff's already on them. If there was like a screensaver with the logo or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like he definitely, like, that's the whole reason he was duplicitous in saying, oh, we're going to the tower, we're going to blow it up. We're going to, like, and then, going through the basement and recording everything and then sending it to the peoples.
But ultimately, I feel like, you have, they tried to do a little bit of character development with David in the sense that, like, okay, his wife is dead, which ultimately didn't really matter or turn into anything. That didn't inform anything aside from the fact that he's had a rough go.
Yeah.
Right. And
well, and there's a reason why the wife isn't in the picture anymore. Like, why?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, but you could have just, she died or she left him, or what it could have been. One I think
it was narratively a nice way to do it.
But they're just, and I don't disagree. But what I'm saying is, like, that's kind of the extent of the real character development that you get from David in this, right? Like, both him and Kevin take a back seat in this film.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a shame because those are two interesting characters that you kind of wanted, you leave Unbreakable going, okay, I could do more. I could do another film about this character, and you'd leave Split going, oh, like, he's not dead and he's brooding and he's, whatever, and we're gonna get like another full, like, dive into who this person is and all this stuff, and there's sprinkles of that throughout, but as we've sort of concluded, neither of them are even the main characters in this film.
No, and they're not really meant to be. They're catalysts for the main character to play with, essentially.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's just weird, right? Like, we've gotten used to, in the last couple of years, we've gotten used to films where the hero of the film or the main character of the film is the villain. Right? You've got the Venom films, you've got the Morbius film, you've got the even Maleficent Joker, right? But the thing that makes those films, especially, let's focus on Joker. The thing that makes Joker so great is there is no, like, Batman's not in it. And what would have really hurt the film Batman or Joker is if Batman was in it just jobbing to Joker, just there to make Joker, if Batman was just there to lose a couple of fights against Joker to make the Joker character look better. It's the fact that his real struggle is with himself, right? He's his own enemy in that film. And in this, it's like the two main characters of the franchise are not the main characters in the conclusion of the film. And to me, that's just super unsatisfying.
Yeah. Well, a supporting character has become a main character.
Yeah.
And the main characters have become supporting characters.
Yeah. It just feels like a mess to me.
Yeah.
And unsatisfying.
I think another problem would be that he's the mastermind.
Yep.
But we're never let into his mastermind plans or thoughts or machinations. We are viewing this whole film third person.
Yeah.
Right.
Which means you spend most of the film going, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Which I find fun and intriguing, but you seem to have gotten lost in the weeds and been like, this is stupid.
It can be fun. Just odd as a follow-up to Split. Right? Like, Split was a intelligent, sophisticated piece of art about the human psyche and good and evil, because you're pretty much against this character until you meet Kevin, and then all of a sudden you're really conflicted and you're like, there's a victim in there. Like, it's a victim, and it's, and you're like, God, so now I don't know where I stand. Like, it has to be stopped and has to be put down. And there's just really nothing like that in this film. There's no real, you don't walk away from this film with a lot to think about. And you do with Split. And I'm not saying every film, like, you can have films that aren't these deep, whatever films.
Right.
But it's just weird to have one that is a follow-up to one that was such a make you think, make you feel, make you wonder,
it's also a follow-up to one that doesn't make you think and feel a lot either in Unbreakable.
I know, which is why Split's the best one of the right. Like, it's like, and that's exactly why I think my theory on how these films came to be is correct.
I don't disagree with that.
Right?
At all.
Is
it's
that
definitely
like
how this
the
came
only
about.
reason
that
Split is a part of the Unbreakable universe is because of a stupid decision. Someone should have been in the room to tell him no.
Right.
And the only reason Glass exists is because he went, well, shit, now I guess I have a franchise. Right? Like,
so I'm getting the sense that you don't feel like he's married the two universes well in this film.
See, and that's the interesting part, because I wouldn't necessarily say that.
All right.
I really like the fact.
Yeah, let's jump into likes. What do you like? We've bashed on it plenty.
We've shit on the film a bunch. I like. I think the good twist in this film is that Kevin's parents were on that train.
Dad.
And his mom. Both parents.
No. Just his dad.
Well,
because the whole conflict of Kevin
yes.
is that his mom was abusive
you're right.
and a jackass.
Yeah, I got it.
And then, but Dad was going to take him away and save him,
conceding.
and he's now dead.
Conceding.
Yeah, I was saying it for the audiences.
You're right.
I'm saying it for the audience, not for you.
Kevin's dad was on that train, like 5 seats away.
Yeah.
Right, and so that I really like. I think that marries it together well. It's difficult for me because, as I've said ad nauseum, I think Split was an IP that didn't need to be married into the super fantastical. But having said that, yeah, I don't necessarily think they did a bad job, right? Like Kevin is an unstoppable force out there that needs to be stopped. David is a character that could potentially do something about that. I don't think I've really ever, like, I thought the Glass character was underwhelming in Unbreakable, and I think the Glass character is underwhelming in this. And so I think maybe that's a big part of my issue, right? Is that, like,
you just don't like Mr. Glass.
Yeah, that it just, like, has always seemed underwhelming to me, and so then to have the conclusion be Mr. Glass centric, and like, that's just, I would have much rather had a 2-hour film that didn't have Mr. Glass in it. Right? He's locked up. There wasn't really a need to bring him back, right? That there was no loose end, right? Now, it's fine that they did bring him back, but it wasn't necessary, right? There was no loose end. David alerted the authorities and Glass went to jail. So I think it would have been far more, and Glass doesn't pop up at the end of Split. And so I think it would have been far more interesting to have a film about David versus Kevin, and one where instead of everyone just dying, it is, you get these, like, conversations, and maybe we find, Kevin does figure out how to hold on to the light and is able to overcome a lot of the crap and is able to lock away or kill off these other, like, maybe there's this whole, you could have this whole fight sequence where somehow, and you'd have to figure out how to do this, but David is killing personalities, right? They're killing personalities so that at the end we get back and it's just Kevin, right? And Kevin is now able to deal with and confront with the help of Casey. That would make the fact that Casey went through similar stuff then all of a sudden is a more reasonable reason to include Casey in this, as opposed to just being like, well, it's Anya Taylor-Joy. We had her sign a contract, so should probably bring her back, right? Like, to me, that would have been far more interesting and would have given the opportunity to do more of a character study on both of them, right? Because maybe in the process of fighting Kevin and the different personalities and whatever, it triggers and brings out some stuff in David. And now David's dealing with shit, and you get, like, a flashback, and that would be a way to tie in the cancer wife thing. Maybe as a flash, something triggers that, and he spent the last 5 years kind of holding it together, but that's been a facade, and you find out that David's actually been drinking, and, like, this film as a follow-up to a really intelligent film feels like, instead of looking at what it has created already, what it's set up, the ingredients that it has gone out and bought and put in the fridge to figure out, okay, how do we make this meal now? It was, let's make a meal with the ingredients that we bought, but also let's start rooting through the freezer and through the cupboards and see how could we take and just, like, they tried to evolve this. They tried to do so much more world building in this. Like I feel like M. Night was like, you think this, instead of just telling a good story, he tried to say to the audience, you think this world I've created for you is crazy now? Just wait, because I'm going to introduce many more elements, and I am going to really just like.
I feel like you're stretching there.
I'm telling you how I feel.
I know. I'm just saying.
Do you know, it feels like the least grounded of all the films. And not just in what the characters do and what happens, but just in the world building. Like I watched this movie and I think this feels...
What part of the world building is doing
this
that?
feels like it least exists in the world that I live in.
What part of the world building is doing that? Because in my mind, the only part that does that is the secret organization that's revealed in the last 5 minutes.
The secret organization,
Which the movie's more than 5 minutes long.
That's the only part I paid attention to. The secret organization, the psychiatrist that's all anti-superheroes.
Like, and to me, that tries to ground it more. Like, it feels off because she feels weird, like we were talking about, but like, she's trying to convince them that this is all in your head. You can't actually do these things.
I think the thing that makes it feel less grounded for me is, and maybe it's not a world building thing, maybe it's a genre shift, is that the first two films were both character studies.
Right.
The second one more so.
Right.
But I think an argument could be made that Unbreakable is a character study.
Oh, definitely. It's a guy with powers that's made himself believe he doesn't, and he's coming to terms with finding out that he actually does. Yeah.
This one felt like an action film, right? We've got these explosions and punching through the van and quick, get in the container and I'll it was like they tried to make it more of a conventional superhero film. Almost.
I would agree with that it feels like they're on the edge of making a Captain America or Avengers style film.
Super soldiers. But
it's constrained by the world that's been built. So it's less and because of that it's less like their fight is not interesting. It's a very kind of brawly, realistic kind of fight. Like he's grabbing him and grappling him.
Yeah.
And because he's invulnerable, he's just like, I can't move. Okay, I got out. Now I'm gonna throw you against the van a couple of times. It's like,
yeah,
it's not flashy. I won't say it's not uninteresting, but it's not flashy.
It has flashy moments.
I don't know. Compared to a modern, like we recently seen Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh, but
it is not like comparing it to what what we've kind of been trained to enjoy in terms of a superhero action film.
But Deadpool,
if this is trying to be a superhero action film, it is something starkly different.
But Deadpool and Wolverine is a reasonable follow-up to the two Deadpool films that have followed.
Right.
This isn't.
But
this is not a reasonable... This is not a place where you would watch Unbreakable and then watch Split.
I don't think that's a bad thing,
and then someone would say, where is a logical place that this should go?
I'm sure we can find lots of series where the series is one thing in one film and becomes something else in another.
That are good, that are praised films?
Where it's a spy thriller, and then in the other film, it's an action blowout.
I would love an example. But
I'm sure there are some there, but I'm sure they're enjoyable.
But the criteria needs to be that and it was also deemed better, right? That that was a smart direction to take it, and that it was good as a result, right? And I don't know, right? Like so on the Deadpool and Wolverine thing, right? Ryan Reynolds has talked ad nauseum about how one of the things that has taken so long to make a Deadpool film, a third one, was the desire not to just make a third one for the sake of making a third one. Was what is the reason to bring these characters back, right? Why does it make sense to tell more? And is there a story there truly worth telling that will serve the characters, and the characters will serve the story, and it will really be the proper and logical progression of what has been built, not only for them, but for
right. And they couldn't figure that out, so they said, screw it, we'll just make it anyway.
No. So what happened was Ryan was on the day that Hugh Jackman called Ryan Reynolds to say, I want, I don't know. I know you guys are planning on making a third one. I don't know where you are in that process. Oh God, hopefully I'm not too late, but I want to do this. Ryan was that afternoon on his way to a meeting with Kevin Feige to say, let's just sit on this for a year or two. Let's come back to it. Like, they just couldn't, until Hugh said, I want in. And that sparked a new kind of like, okay, right? Like, maybe this isn't just Deadpool's story, but maybe there's a story to tell about Wolverine, about a Wolverine variant that let his whole world down. And these are things you can see in the trailers. This is not spoilers. Who let down his entire universe and is dealing with that. So there's a story to tell there. Whereas I truly feel like, but that's why I think it's important that when you are making another film in a franchise that you are already making films in, that you ask and answer the question, why does it make sense to do this? And what is based on where we've come and what we've done, what is the logical next step? And I feel like there wasn't any time spent on that. I feel like it was what will be kind of fun and what will be, and that's a weird place to go to from Split, because Split is not kind of fun, right? Split is very intelligent and vastly interesting. And yeah, anyways, I don't know. The film has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
I'm not alone. Are we ready to score this?
Sure.
Well, no, if you've got...
I don't know. I mean, we're definitely a little bit on opposite ends.
We're opposite ends of the spectrum
here. I don't think I'm going... I mean, we're not really trying to convince each other one way or another. We're just feeling out...
I don't want us to have the same score. I think that's boring.
Yeah.
All right. So you go first.
Okay. All right.
On a scale of 0 to 10, sir, how would you rank Glass? Sorry. That was an honest mistake. Could happen to anyone.
I would agree it's probably not the strongest of them.
Yep.
But I enjoy it. And like I said in my initial impression, I think it does kind of seamlessly tie these two worlds together well. Two movies which are already very different kind of genres. Split and Unbreakable feel very different. This feels very different from those two as well. And I think by doing so, it does kind of marry them together in a way that is enjoyable. Not the best possible way. There was definitely some missteps. I think I'll give it 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
I will enter that.
Fun. It does the job that it sets out to do. It's got some fun twists at the end. It's a good Shyamalan.
So that took
film.
Your score for yourself from a 7.5 to a 7.4. Ooh. Well, be careful.
What are you going to give it?
I've put a lot of, having done the podcast for over 5 years now, I've put a lot of thought into how my ranking system works. It's not as intricate as Pete's. What if I'm at the cottage and wearing blue underwear? And like, that's a full...
And this is that score, but I also have this other scoring thing I do too. So I'm going to give it a this, and I'm going to give it a this.
Yeah, it was like... And he hasn't used that in a while. I want him to bring it back. Because, yeah, he would be like, if I'm at the cottage, it'd be this score.
Yeah.
But if I'm asking myself, would I get a babysitter? Right? It's like, okay. And the abridged version of that is, obviously 10 is perfect. 0 is the worst film ever.
Utter trash.
It's lost in translation.
It's the room.
Cats. And 5 is a very neutral, take it or leave it. I'm not going to tell you not to watch it, but I can't recommend it to you either.
Middle of the road.
Yeah. With that being said, I have to give this film a 4.
Ooh. Ouch.
Because I'm not just neutral to it. I don't hate it, but I do dislike it. I do. I was really disappointed by it, and I think that it made some wildly wrong moves. So that's most unfortunate. But yeah, so I give it a 4, which takes my score from a 6.4 down to a 6.1.
Oh.
Holy shit.
You disliked it on purpose.
No, I didn't. My score for the films that you've had me watch is a 6.1. Your score for the films I've made you watch is a 6.1. We're now actually like
dead even,
equal playing ground.
Yeah. You like the films as much that I make you watch as much as I like the films you make me watch.
That's friendship.
But it's not even an even score, because there's one more film that you've watched for my list.
That's
than
fair.
Yours.
That's fair.
So that's not a fair comparison.
So
which means I have to give the next film that we watch
4 or
a
lower.
0.
I have 4 or lower. Yeah. Son of a bitch. What'd you watch this week?
What did I watch? Oh, so my wife and I, we started watching a new show.
Yep.
We started watching Psych. Have you ever seen Psych?
No.
It's one of these. So we were watching Monk, and then we ended up watching Bridgerton because Bridgerton came out. My wife wanted to watch Bridgerton, and then we started watching something else. Anyway, we watched. So we finished whatever short series we were watching, and we were like, "Well, what are we going to watch now?" And I was like, "Have you ever seen Psyched?" Was kind of near something on the list, and I was like, "Oh, that was a really fun film. I've seen a few seasons of that."
Oh, this is an old show.
And I explained it to her, and she's like, "Oh, that sounds like fun." And it's essentially like Monk, but instead of the detective being like a neurotic guy, right? The detective is a very intelligent, very kind of normal guy, but he's very self-centered, and he's got a thing about like his dad was a police officer who like grilled him and tried to make him use his gift all the time as a kid. His gift was like the ability to almost photographic memory about picking out details of people, of things around him.
There's 3 movies.
For Psych?
There's 3 Psych movies.
What? No, let me see.
Psych the movie. Psych 2, Lassie Come Home. And Psych 3, This Is Gus.
That's wild.
So hang on. Because what you need to know is, where do the psych movies fit in.
Fall into the, because there's like 6 seasons or something. I've only watched up to somewhere into the 4th season.
Okay, so you're fine because the first movie takes place 3 years after the conclusion of the series. So watch the whole series and then watch the 3 films. Yeah, that's fun.
But it's a goofy film because he's got this kind of normal ability to photographically memorize things in a room or things on a person, and the first episode starts out with him like making out with a girl on his couch, and the TV's on and the news is on, and he sees them interviewing a guy who's just been robbed, and he picks up the phone and he calls the cops. He says, the guy on the TV, he's the one that did it, because he was able to pick up a couple things just from watching the TV and just deduce who it was that did it. And he goes into the police station to pick up his finder's fee, I guess.
Right, the bounty.
And they drag him into the witness room as the prime suspect.
Oh.
Right. And so to get out of being the prime suspect, he claims that has gifts of supernatural ability. He can read minds. He's psychic.
Which is bullshit.
He can talk to spirits. He's completely lying through his teeth.
Yeah.
But like, because he's memorized a bunch of stuff,
they
like
buy it.
He memorized seeing broken shards of a taillight in a guy who's in handcuffs.
Memory.
He can be like, I'm seeing broken glass of a taillight. Check the guy out in the hallway's left boot. You'll have everything you need. And they're like, what? And they do it, and
sure enough.
He turns this gift, but he completely plays it up. Like, he'll go to a crime scene when cops aren't there and kind of look around and be like, oh, I know how it happened. And then he'll go back to the police station and act like he's having a vision, and they'll go and he'll be like, check over there. And yeah, it's really fun and goofy.
Okay.
We're having fun with it.
But how fun is it that there's 3 films?
That's pretty wild. I didn't know.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Watch more One Piece.
Yeah.
Obviously. I watched 2 films. One was only like a 30-minute kind of, would you call it a document? I don't know. It's called Attack of the Hollywood Cliches. It was just kind of like, I was folding laundry and I didn't know if I had enough time to watch a movie, so I put this thing on because it was shorter.
Okay.
And it was all right. It was just kind of like they had a bunch of actors talking, almost like documentary, I guess, about different cliches and where they came from and how they're used now. And yeah, it was all right.
All right.
And then I watched something you had seen recently and mentioned you'd watched and said it was really good. And I thought, maybe I'll watch that.
Hang on. Let me, it was a movie?
It was a movie.
Something I must have watched with Brienne. What movies have we watched recently?
It was a while. I'd say it's within the last 4 or 5 months.
I have no clue. Okay.
Yeah, it was Unfrosted.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the Pop-Tarts.
And?
Comedy. It was fun.
It's fun.
And it's funny.
It's not like, I wouldn't say great movie.
No.
But it's fun.
It made me go, like, the first bit of the movie, I'm watching Jerry Seinfeld, and I watched a lot of Seinfeld.
Right.
And some of his stand-up. And I was just like, he's just playing himself again.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the point.
But, like, as the film goes in, he actually is kind of like, oh, no, okay, he's actually kind of like, he's in a character. He's not just playing himself. He's in a character. And there's bits of himself in that character. But it's like most comedic actors that come from stand-up kind of do that. Like most Jim Carrey films, he's playing Jim Carrey with moments of character development there.
Well, and I mean, that's a poor example because nowadays, if you'd asked him, he would say that even Jim Carrey, the person, was a character, was not. So that's like a this is like a bad example.
But you know what I mean,
yeah.
right? Like,
well, I think that's
there's a lot of similarities between who Ace Ventura is and who the Grinch is.
And I don't think that that's just. I think most actors would tell you that there's a little bit of them in every role that they play.
It just comes out a little bit more in a comedic actor because they're hired because the comedic value that they bring is what they want brought out in the character that they're trying to portray.
It's like Silence of the Lambs. Don't trust Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, ever.
No, ever.
What did you eat? Did you know he was a doctor?
Did I eat?
Hang on.
Not people.
Are you sure?
Or Pop-Tarts.
Clarice. Sorry, we got this game for a road trip.
Or Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter was a doctor.
It was a doctor, yeah. Hannibal Lecter.
I've never seen the movie, but I didn't realize he was a doctor. Anyway, what'd you watch?
Haven't seen the movie.
I've seen bits of it.
See, here's the problem.
I've seen one of the sequels.
I'm having a problem. You did something that at the time I was completely on board with. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But now I'm like, shit. So we had made these lists for each other.
Right.
And then we went through and we made notes about which ones we had seen already. And then we went through and deleted from that list all the ones.
I've had the same thought that you're saying you had.
And so sometimes now I'll be like, I wonder if he's seen this.
Yeah.
I should add it to the list. Was it already on the list?
Yeah, I think we just re-add it to the list.
Yeah.
And then if it's not there, you just if it's something we've seen already,
put it in a
just
separate
moves to the bottom.
Or put it in a separate off to the side, just like already watched.
I think we just shift them to the bottom.
Or the bottom. Whatever.
Drag them to the bottom.
I'll let you're the... Yeah. Anyways. So what did I watch? More House. Still watching House. And then the big one...
Crazy doctor.
The big one was... Did
you know he's a doctor?
I did. Yeah.
Dr. House.
That's the premise of the show.
Yeah.
Also doesn't eat people. The big one was, so a couple weeks back, went to that concert.
Right.
And several of the people who went to the concert with us, first time going to a concert.
Okay. That's not a movie, but okay.
And they weren't all necessarily big Green Day fans. Like, they're all like, yeah, we know the songs.
Right.
We're willing to. I didn't.
We know you, so we know some of this.
Yeah, I didn't have to coax anyone into going.
Still
and
not a
so
movie.
They went, absolutely loved it, and started like, one person in particular started like, has been like working through the discography, right?
Okay.
Like has really become into, which is fun for me because like now they're like a big fan, and for whatever reason, just in my circle of friends, my whole life,
to bond over with them.
Yeah, like my whole life, I have never really shared my big fandom of Green Day with anyone, right? So anyways, so I reached out to them and I said, well, hey, like if you're looking for something fun to watch, why don't you come over? There's I mean, I don't own the DVD anymore. We watched it on a streaming service, but a DVD that I've owned was given back in 2005 for Christmas, which was a Green Day concert / documentary DVD. 2 hours long, 130,000 people in London, England, big outdoor, massive, deemed by some not only to be one of Green Day's greatest live performances, but just one of the best live performances ever, right? It's just this, just high-end crazy thing. And
I wasn't there. I wouldn't know.
And the documentary and whatever. And so I said, well, will you come over and we'll turn the sound system up real loud and we'll watch this. So they came over. We made a disgustingly large platter of nachos.
Nice.
And we just sat and watched it and rocked out to it. And And then I told them, I was like, hey man, like I've got my 360 and all of the peripherals still. I said, you guys want to play Green Day Rock Band sometime? I was like, just let me know. Pretty sure the drums are at my parents' house. So yeah, I think that's it. That's what I watched. But it's just fun. It's a fun thing to like, you know, be able to send Green Day memes to people and know that their response isn't just, oh, there's another one, right? Like it's fun. It's fun.
A catered meme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Catered GIF.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode, despite the beginning of the episode being a bit of a life or death situation for Carl. We're still not really sure what the hell that was.
It's gone now. For now.
Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below. Maybe what was wrong with Carl was still aftermath from eating ridiculously hot chicken wings, which is something that you can find on our Patreon page for as little as
money a month.
Up $1. It's dollar
money.
$1 a month.
Money. Yeah. Help us out, man. Like
literally,
life insurance is expensive, and I'm obviously dying.
Literally, the money that you just like lose, like you clearly, easily, you lose $1 a month. You just misplace $1 a month.
Falls out of your wallet in between the console and the seat of your car, never to be seen again.
Quit being an irresponsible dick with your money and give it to us instead.
Yeah, we'll take care of it for you,
and we'll give you fun perks in return.
We are now financial advisors, and we advise you to give us all your money.
Give me all your money. That's not how the song goes. And merch. Know what song that is. And I was give me all your lovin'. But
that was way off.
Yeah. And merch.
Yeah. We got clothes.
Yeah.
And hats. And
the worst salesperson ever. What clothes, right? That's merch.
There's a teddy bear. Yeah. And is there still limited time merch?
I'm surprised you haven't, and I don't know, maybe you're just not witty enough for this, but I'm surprised sometime I haven't been like, we have merch, and you've been like, mercs, we have mercs. It seems like a you.
Yeah, but only I would get that.
Mercs? Mercenaries? People know what mercs are.
I don't know. I was thinking more like the board game.
Oh, my God.